Thank you. Thank you so much. And good morning, everyone. And welcome. I'm Kathleen Frankert. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. So happy to acknowledge and greet you this morning with Namaste. Namaste is Sanskrit, and it means the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. And welcome especially also to our online audience. We're so happy that you are tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, whether it be right now in the present moment or down the line on tape. However, you're joining us either here at the Garden Center or elsewhere. We're so glad to have you with us. So we're the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, and what we explore here is what it means to be a center for spiritual living, what it is to have the opportunity in life to express our true spiritual nature. And so we do that by learning and teaching the science of mind principles, and then how that can apply in our lives for a greater experience of our spiritual truth and our spiritual knowing. So that's what we're up to today and every day here at the center. So we're so happy that you're joining us for that discovery. We have a great Sunday service in store for you today again. Reverend Teresa Fieberts, who is our spiritual director, is finishing up her month of sabbatical. And so she will be back up here with us next Sunday. But today we have with us our beloved Associate Minister, Reverend Emile Gauvreau. Yes, yes. We're so happy to have Reverend Emile here today. You know, Reverend Emile is more than a minister here at our center. He's obviously a member of the Joyful Noise Band. He's a teacher, a facilitator, so he wears a lot of hats. But we're really happy that today's hat is bringing us our lessons. So we look forward to that, Reverend Emile. Thanks for doing that. This month, our theme and what we've been looking at is unstatus quo. So what's the opposite of status quo, and what does that look like in a spiritual context? And today, the topic is change and the fear of success. So perhaps some of you have encountered that in the past, or if you haven't, maybe you'll have learned some things about if it should happen down the line. So, as I said, our musical inspiration is Joyful Noise today, our house band, and we do love them, don't we? Yes. So great, so great. Thank you. We heard them practicing earlier. You guys are in for a treat. So, with all of that said, let's now just take an opportunity to maybe just settle in a bit more, kind of detach from whatever was going on before you arrived, or maybe something that's coming up later in your day, and just allow yourself to be now in this space, in this present moment, and allow yourself to be centered in the knowing that each one of us are one. We're one with the magnificence of life, the energetic flow of energy of the divine that moves through everything, everything. And we can call it eternal good, we can call it divine presence, we can call it spirit, God, nature. But whatever its name is, it is all that one thing that is urging itself forward into creation, into all of creation. And that includes me, and that includes everyone hearing these words. So I invite you to take as your own this affirmative declaration of this nature of the magnificence of the one. And this was written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. I allow the divine wholeness to flow through me in ever-widening circles of activity. Every good I have experienced is now increased. Every joy that has come into my life is now multiplied. There's an influx of inspiration into my thought. I see more clearly than ever before that my divine birthright is freedom, joy, and eternal goodness. The divine presence interprets itself to me through love and friendship, through peace and harmony. Knowing that life gives according to my faith, I lift my mind and elevate my faith. I listen deeply to the song of my being. And so it is. And welcome, Joyful Noise.
Shake the dust from the stars tonight. candle in my name. Together maybe we can learn to change. Gift of silver becomes a gift of gold. Deepest secrets will unfold. Night is shattered by the rising sun. All the earth will sing the setting sun. Breathe on me, breath of life. Wrap the broken pieces of each heart. Find the voices, make them still. Hold the shadows that can drink your fill. I'm tired of fighting words stored in my head. All the dreams we've left unsaid. Sun is rising, now it won't be long till all the earth will sing this sacred song. Breathe on me, breath of life. Shake the dust from the stars tonight. Light a candle, sing my name. Together maybe we can learn to change. Together maybe we can learn to change. Learn to change. Learn to change.
That was beautiful, Phil. Thank you. I'm Bob Felix. I'm doing the reading today. This reading is from a really cool book called The Tao of Willie by Willie Nelson. It's a chapter called Just Play It. He starts off with quotes just like they do in the Science of Mind magazine. This first one's from the Tao Te Ching. Those who know do not say. Those who say do not know. And then from the Tao Texas Jing, you can't kiss a duck's butt without getting feathers in your mouth. No matter how old you are, your life is a time-limited offer. It's possible that you've been here before or will be back in another life, but in this life, the two most impossible things to change are the time you are born and the inevitability of your passing. While all the miracles of modern medicine can't eliminate the physical limits of the human body, there is no limit to what you can learn. Over 2,000 years ago, the masters of the Tao taught that while life is finite, knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is a tricky thing. Unlike a big business deal, you can't sign a paper that will bring you a large sum of knowledge. Knowledge can only be acquired by learning, which must be done on a day-to-day basis. But what is knowledge, and what good is it once you've got it? He says after 65 years of playing, this book is written in 2006, so it's more like 78 years of playing at this point. After years of playing, I know quite a bit about playing guitar. I have good technique, some of it taught to me by my old friend Paul Buskirk, so that I could reteach those same lessons to students at Paul's School of Guitar. But I don't play guitar by technique. I just play. I guess you could say that I play by something beyond technique. You might call it feel, but the Tao calls it the way. Skill and technique can enable you to do a thing well and in exactly the same way each time. But doing something according to the way will enable you to do something that is different each time and which is also great. I don't play the same notes each time. I play the song and the song plays me. We are the same. You don't need to play guitar for these thoughts to apply to you. You can do good things in your life, like helping a little old lady across the street, or you can forget the technique of doing good and let the good things simply be a part of you. Whether playing guitar or simply trying to be a good person, if you're constantly guided by your intellect and by techniques that you've learned, you will likely be concerned about how good you sounded. Your motivation will be in trying to achieve success. We're all pleased by success, but if you do things the way that come natural to you, you'll be more than pleased. You'll be satisfied. Happiness is in the way we act, not in the outcome. One of the secrets to my sound is almost beyond explanation. My battered old Martin guitar, Trigger, has the greatest tone I've ever heard from a guitar. And I've played a lot of guitars, including a lot of other Martins that were the exact same model as Trigger. A lot of the guys in the band have been with me for decades, but Trigger has outlasted every musician I've played with. And after all these years, I've come to believe that we were fated for each other. The two of us even look alike. My musician pals haven't carved and written their names on me the way they have on Trigger, but we're both pretty bruised and battered. The holes I've worn in Trigger are from my pick zinging up and down 1,000,000 times on the face of an acoustic guitar that's not supposed to be played with a pick. But at this point, those holes are part of what makes Trigger sound exactly right. I also play other guitars, of course, including a black electric Fender during the blues numbers in our show. But Trigger is as much a part of my sound as the way I play. If I picked the finest guitar made this year and tried to play my solos exactly the way you heard them on the radio, or even at last night's show, I'd always be a copy of myself, and we'd all end up bored. But if I play the instrument that is now a part of me and do it according to the way that feels right for me, in each place and time, I'll always be an original. At the very least, I know I won't get bored.
Thank you, Bobby. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So we're going to sing a song that you probably know now. Or maybe we're going to let the song sing itself.
Aha.
You know it. You can sing it with us. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy when we try. There's no hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine when all the people just live for today. Imagine there's no country that isn't hard to do. There's nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people we're living life in peace. You can call me a dreamer. I'm not the only one. Look beside you. I know someday they join us, and the world is as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if we even can. No need for greed, no hunger. A brother, sisterhood for all. Imagine all the people we're sharing. All the world you can call me a dreamer. I know I'm not the only one. I know someday they join us, and the world is as one. Thank you.
Or on my shoulder. So I think Imagine has been an anthem for a lot of us for many years. And at the same time, I think if we think about those words, they could probably scare the bejesus out of us. Imagine no possessions. Any of us have a possession? 1 or 2 or 3 or 200 or 500 or whatever. from a Buddhist concept, I think what he's talking about is that we're not attached to our possessions, that they don't define who we are. They're the things we have that serve us in our day-to-day, and so that we're not lording them over or using them as weapons or tools to control other people. So it's an interesting way to think about things. But that's a change, yes? We change from what is sort of the, I have this, it makes me more important, better, whatever than you, or I'm not as good as you because you have that and I don't. But to change that dynamic takes us to change ourselves, to move through something that is different from just doing our everyday routine, to walk in the same footprint, so to speak, each day of our lives. As I think most of you know, my wife passed at the end of March, and that was a change that was not planned for. That was a change that was not expected. We'd actually had a conversation 11 months earlier and confirmed that for sure I was going to be the first one to pass on, and that we could make plans around the certainty that Deborah would be continuing after me. I've sat in the swing over here. Where are we? Over there. If you haven't sat in that swing, that's Deborah's swing. And had conversations with her and said, hey, this was not the plan. It wasn't supposed to be me. And at the same time, I'm grateful that it's me, not you. And some of you may know that we had a wonderful celebration of life service, and I gotta thank Phil and Laura, Diana, Frankie for the participation, making it beyond my imagination. That was Friday, and I'm here today. And Teresa said, you sure you want to do that? And I said, yes, it's my coming out. It's my emergence. I wrote to another friend who was also a dear friend of Deborah's, and I said, it's my coming out, and I put in parentheses, not the closet. Because what I noticed is that I need to change. I've habit patterns, daily patterns, ways of looking at things, ways of taking care of things that were designed for two people, for myself and being responsible to and for someone else who's moved on. That's pretty damn scary. You know, who am I now? I'm no longer Deborah's husband. I'm no longer her life partner. So, as I look at how I go forward, I look at, well, there's this thing called, do I move forward successfully? Do I move forward with some semblance of confidence? Do I move forward in a way that honors myself and honors what I think Deborah would have wanted for me? And the idea of having that success is scary. I'm not afraid of failing. I'm afraid of what that might look like because it's unknown. Just like if you're looking at a new job or a new home or a new partner or whatever it is you might be looking for that's different than what you have right now, it means the you that is looking at that new thing is going to be different. And sometimes we don't try, not because we're afraid we're going to fail. We don't try because we have to change. Reverend Shell talked about incompetence, competence, excellence, and genius. You know, we may be cruising beautifully in our excellence, but to step it up into genius, you know, then we're out on the skinny branches. We're out in that place that says, oh, this is different. I have to be different. I have to show up in a different way. And what is that going to look like? Will I take the same people with me? Will they still like me? Will they still love me? Will they still want to be around me? Or will they somehow fall away? Or might there be new people that come into our lives? I didn't know Laurel very well until Phil said, you know, would you play bass on these songs? And we got to talking, the three of us, and I learned stuff I didn't know. And I have new people. I have new things. Was it a little scary? Was it a little edgy? Was I a little trepidatious? Is that a word?
No.
So, I think really the scariest thing that we all have to look at is that excellence to genius. Because we know what really makes our heart sing. But it's our willingness to step into that place. Our willingness to just, whatever it's going to take, another effort, another way of looking things, another way of presenting ourselves, and to really allow the genius that is within us to express forth. Because what is that genius? It's nothing but spirit saying, let me out. Let me out. I'm here to do wonderful works in the world, and you've been keeping the cap on the genie lamp. Pop the cork. Let's move forward with this. So I don't have a lot written here, but I just want to make sure I'm staying on track. So you probably all know what your genius is. And it's probably scary when you consider it. It's like, ooh. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's that thing that makes you feel like you need to grow, that thing that makes you feel alive, that gives you a little bit of edgy excitement. Makes you want to get up in the morning and go out and do whatever that thing is. I know we're human beings and not human doings, but sometimes we actually have to do stuff. Present ourselves in the world. But it's all about change. You know, we're hearing all sorts of political stuff these days. Some of it sounds to me like folks wanting to go back to a time that we can't go back to. I mean, we can't even go back 2 minutes ago for me to correct what I said, you know, right? You know, it's like the closest we can come to that is, remember the old Selectric typewriters where you had the correction ball that you could backspace over the word and put a new, but you know, we can't do that when we're living life. You're going to correct the last breath you take? Oh, that wasn't quite deep enough. Maybe I want to do it. You know, so when the pulse ox on my finger, you know, I really want to get that up to 99 or 100. No, we're here. We're doing it. We're doing it. So and we can self-correct. We can adjust our course, but we have to have a vision. Where are we going? Where are we going with this thing? I remember some conference I was at, the example was given that if a plane taking off from Los Angeles was and heading for New York was like, I think it was like 1 degree off, It could wind up in Miami instead. So what is the computer in the plane doing? It's constantly saying, you're on course, 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 and bringing it back. And if there's drift, maybe there's winds coming north to south and it's pushing it that way, and it's got to make an adjustment coming up. Some of you might be in sailboats. You're constantly adjusting the sail and the rudder to move forward. That's what life is about. So we adjust. So we're heading in a direction. We thought, well, that looked like the place that I wanted to go. That is where I would express my genius. And then when you kind of as you get closer, it looks different than you thought. And you're like, oh, maybe I'm moving over this way instead. And we have to be brave enough to step into that. Brave enough to allow that expression to come forward to bring out the excitement in us. As I look forward for myself, it's like, I want to be excited about life. I want to have fun. How can you have fun? You just lost your wife. She'd be kicking my butt to go have fun, quite frankly. I know she didn't really participate in this community, but a couple of people got to know her and know that she was a truth speaker. Spent last 4 or 5 days with kids and daughter and son-in-law and old friends and her sister. One of her friends met her. The friend was 17, and she's the baby of our group. I think she's only going to be 68. You know, her friend that met her in 1972 said, you know, she always was on track. I want to be that. I want to be on track. I want my life to be something that's exciting and fun and joyful and fulfills that movement from excellence to genius. I've done a lot of excellence. You know, Shell couldn't have set me up any better for this talk, and Reverend Denise last week, both of whom are dear friends for years and years. That movement. Or, you know, we go back to my teacher, Michael Beckwith, you know, it became known as the 4 phases or the four dimensions, but, you know, the first time I learned it, it was things happening to me. Oh my God, that happened to me. The victim, right? And then we get to that place, and early in our science mind, religious science lives, where we're thinking, I did that, I manifested. Yeah, if any of you saw the movie The Secret and their little spoof on that about manifesting parking spaces and whatnot. You know, that's the by me phase. You know, I'm doing this. Damn, I'm good. And then it's through me. You know, that's where we're starting to feel the oneness. And that's where I think we're in that excellence, you know, so we're really sort of feeling it and moving with it. Now, before I go to the last level, what I did learn after I thought I really understood the four phases is somebody asked Michael a question. And he says, oh, no, you don't just go like step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4, and that's where you stay. The idea is you master those steps, so you know when you're slipping into victimhood. You know when you're starting to believe your own press releases. You know when Spirit really is moving through you and helping you get things done. But then you move into that genius phase where it's Spirit as you, where you're really bringing the whole thing. your whole being, the whole beingness that you are as a spiritual being, to the room, to the job, to the meeting, to the relationship, to whatever it is. And that can be scary to just say, here I am, all of me. Every single scrap, every atom, all 70 trillion cells. A big change. Oh, and by the way, you're not even who you were yesterday. Because when you woke up this morning, a good portion of those cells, probably 1/7 or 1/8, depending on which article you read about how often cells regenerate themselves, is not there. There's new ones in their places. So as you wake up renewed each day, what is that day going to bring? What are you bringing to that day? How will Spirit express in, through, and as you in that moment, as you wake up and become the you that is going to be expressing in the world right now? This is not the talk that I had outlined. I love it. I got to tell you, I've probably done, so I did probably 50 Sundays a year for 9 years. And then I've done a lot of speaking for other people. And I write something out. Usually I'll outline something the day before, the night before, look at it in the morning, change it, and then somewhere along the line, some of what I've outlined comes out of my mouth when I actually stand up in front of the room. And I know that's because of you. I know that there's an energy in this room of what you all need to hear. And the first time I got that is when I stood up in front of the Agape congregation with 1,200 people in the room. And some of you were saying, oh my God, that would scare me to death. You know what? It was like Spirit just was flowing all around the room, up and in through me, and I just started talking. I was doing an announcement about I used to serve on the Consciousness of Wealth Committee, and we were doing a fundraiser and whatever. And when I got done, I was like, who is that? That's when you know you're moving through. That's when you know something's happening that's not being manipulated. You know, you're not stuck in that by me phase. And from that day forward, which was somewhere around 1999, I knew that I didn't have to worry about what I was going to say. I just needed to be open and available to allow it to come out. So that's where we're moving. We move from that incompetence, competence, excellence, into genius, into that space of I'm fully expressed in Spirit. This is Spirit expressing in, through, and as. I love that from Ernest Holmes, and he uses it so much. And there's a series of Alive. I think it's just Alive Again. It's remastered recordings from his radio shows in the early, I think it was the late 40s into the 50s. My friend Arthur Chang has continued the program and to this day in Los Angeles. So take a moment each day. Take many moments in the day. There's lots of them. and really allow the fullness of Spirit to fill you and guide you to how you want to express. Let's just take a moment in prayer. Simply knowing absolutely there's a wholeness and a oneness in the universe that expresses everywhere and right here. There's the fullness of Spirit, the fullness of the flow and the energy, physical and the non-physical, flowing, moving in, through, and as each one of us, allowing us to know that we are actually fully one in it and one with each other, that there is a universal oneness, that there is no separation one to the other. We are connected in ways we cannot even imagine. And I know that expression of spirit is seeking to rise up and explode forth from each one in this room, each one listening in the podcast, each one that tunes in at some point in the future, just knowing that there's a flow and a movement that's, call it inspiration, call it expression, call it life itself, flowing in, through, and as each one of us, allowing us to rise up, to say yes, express through and as me into that new expression, into that fuller expression, into that full genius of who I am as spirit on the earthly plane. I'm so grateful for this word, so grateful to know that it is the truth of each being that hears this message. The spirit is exploding right now in, through, and as each and every one of us. And with that great gratitude, I release this word into the law where I know it is already whole, perfect, and complete. And we can all declare it to be so simply by saying, and so it is. Love and blessings. Sang this song on Friday and blew my friends and family away.
I speak. This song will sing itself as spirit through me to you. What will you do today with what you heard here? There's a seed, something landed in your heart, and you get to do something with that seed this week. Will you water it each day? Will you fertilize it? Watch it sprout, grow into something that you couldn't even imagine? That's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Rev G. I really needed what your heart expressed today. Thank you. If I Were Brave by Jana Stanfield. I have an echo. Can you help me, please? What would I do if I knew I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trust in the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do if I were brave? What would I do if I were brave? What would I do
If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave. What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? And what would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like a mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, there are miracles in you and me. If I were brave, I'd walk that razor's edge where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when I lose my way. What step will I take today if I were brave? What would I do 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 today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear with the voice of courage whisper in my ear, maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead where true believers dare to tread. I'll never lose faith, even when I lose my way. What step will I take today? I am brave. What will I do? I am brave. Come on, what will I do? I am brave. What will I do? I am brave. What will I do today? I am brave. We are brave. Thank you.
So what an encouraging song to cap off that wonderful message by Reverend Emile. I feel like we're all got, Supermen and women capes on right now. We're going to go flying. How wonderful. Well, this is just another opportunity for us to experience gratitude for what we have been encouraged to do for ourselves today, is it not? This is why we come to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. This is why I invite you now to consider how you might support this ministry with your financial gift. And for those watching on screen, online, you can see information on your screen about how to give virtually. If you're here at the Bayfront Community Center, we'll be passing a basket. Perhaps you give online already automatically, which is what I do. I set it and forget it. But however you're giving, I invite you now and encourage you now to see that gift, feel that gift, acknowledge that gift with gratitude. Gratitude for what you receive here and gratitude for what the center does with those offerings by making this teaching available in the greater Sarasota community and beyond. So I invite you to take your gift in your hand, whether it's virtually or in money form, but place it over your heart in that grateful space, that place where we know that gratitude emanates. And recognize that the divine flow multiplies it abundantly as you give it. And if you would repeat with me, I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. And now Joyful Noise is going to lead us in our offering affirmation.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Thank you so much for your support. If you're visiting us for the first time, a special welcome to you. We have a gift for you. It's a copy of a prior issue of our magazine, Science of Mind, Spiritual Living Guide for Spiritual Living. And if you'll visit with one of our greeters here at the table as you leave, we'll give you that gift. This is a publication that's been going on for 96 years. So there's good stuff here. I think you'll enjoy reading it. There are daily affirmations and spiritual readings, articles by New Thought leaders, present day, as well as those from historical. So anyway, enjoy the magazine with our great thanks and appreciation for your joining us today, and hope to see you again. If you'd like to know more about what's going on at the center, and there's always lots, please sign up for our newsletter. You can do that on Facebook or online at cslculturalcoast.org. We have going on with the National Centers for Spiritual Living, 100 days of healing practice for our elections coming up in November. So that started back at the end of July, but you can join in. This is a daily 2-minute call that you'll receive. If you're not available to take the call, it will go to your voicemail. But it's a way to spiritually presence that which we want to experience as during this upcoming election season. And it looks at healing, it looks at forgiveness, it looks at ways that we can be a positive spiritual and consciousness influence as we go forward to the ballot boxes in November. So you can sign up on that for that in our weekly newsletter, or you can text to join. Text the word join to 470-784-0250. We have, Reverend Teresa will be back next Sunday, as I mentioned, our first Sunday. And after service, she's going to be leading a visioning session for a process that's going to be ongoing in our center every month, visioning for what is our way to express the right and perfect space for us. We have been meeting at the Garden Center for several years. We are here at the Bayfront Community Center while the Garden Center is being updated and remodeled. But we are starting to grow, and we're looking for a place for the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast to be expressed in different surroundings and new surroundings. And the way we begin that process is we begin from consciousness. So that's what visioning is about. Reverend Teresa will lead that visioning process right after service next Sunday. And also during the first Saturday, every first Saturday of the month for the next several months. And that will be at 10 a.m. on Saturday. More information about that in the newsletter that I mentioned earlier. And so we'll be publishing if we're moving back to the Garden Center, whenever they've completed their work. And so just keep an eye on the newsletter and on our Facebook page for that information, so you'll know which place to go in the coming weeks. On Sunday, mark your calendars for Sunday, September 8th, immediately after the service. Reverend Teresa is going to be hosting a lunch and learn about the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, what it is that we teach, what it is that we do at the center here, our activities, how to become a member. It's open to those of us that have been here for a while, members, guests, visitors. If you just are considering membership, please, please feel free to attend. Did I mention there's pizza and salad? Yes. And so RSVP so we know how much to order and bring in, and you can do that in the newsletter. We'd be happy to have you for that event. It's back to school time. Kids have already gone back to school here in Sarasota, and we'll be starting a class coming up September the 24th, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. That's something that we talk a lot about in the Centers for Spiritual Living internationally. I'll be teaching that course. I'll be your facilitator. It's a 6-week online class. Thank you. It's a 6-week online class via Zoom. And we look at spiritual tools and how to enhance what it is that we are up to in life. Get some ideas about how to take forward some of the great encouragement that Reverend Emile spoke about earlier, getting to that genius level. It's an introductory course, but I promise anybody that has studied this, you're going to hear reminders and new ways of taking your spiritual practice deeper. So I invite you to participate in that. You can see me after the service, or you can pick up a flyer over here on the table to my right. There's also information in the newsletter. Reverend Teresa will be teaching Advanced Consciousness starting September 26th. The Spiritual Living Circles is every Wednesday at 7 o'clock online. It's a way for us via Zoom, and it's a way for us to meet as a community to talk about an article from this magazine. So if you'd like to learn more about that, please sign up via the newsletter, and we'd love to have you join in. It's no cost, and you can come and go as your schedule permits. I will be your practitioner of the day. If you have an intention on your heart, maybe you were inspired by today's service or today's talk by Reverend Emile, and you want to take that next big step, and you'd like some spiritual and consciousness support for that, I'd be happy to support you with that. You can meet me here behind the screen, or leave a prayer request in the box. If you're joining us online, you can go to our website and find prayer support there and submit a prayer request. And we have a dozen licensed spiritual practitioners here in our center who will keep you in affirmative prayer for the coming week. So finally, if you're joining us here and your schedule permits, please hang out for some coffee and community time. We'd love to get to know you better. And if you're joining us online, hope you can take that opportunity to do that the next time you're here with us in person. So with that, I just thank you so much for being with us this morning, and Joyful Noise is going to take us through our closing song. And Bobby has one more thing.
I want to ask Kathleen, we had expected to be going back to the garden club starting next week. Did Teresa talk to you about that?
She said that it would be in the newsletter.
Okay, so watch the newsletter, because just in case they're not done, we may still be here.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Thank you, Bobby. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Joyful Noise. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Lies ahead may be unknown as I brave the unseen road. God, go with me. Every hidden sacrifice through the watches of the night. God, go with me. Through it all, I know I am not alone. I am fearless in your presence. You're all around me, all around me. In my weakness,
sets me free. What you've done and who you are, God. You are for me. Every hard and heavy step, I will see your faithfulness, God. You are for me, for me. I am fearless in your presence. You're all around me, all around me. In my weakness, you are strongest. You surround me. You surround me. No fear in the crashing waves. No fear when the cost is great. No fear in the midnight hour. I'm filled with the spirit of power. No fear in the crashing waves. No fear when the cost is great. No fear in the midnight hour. I'm filled with the spirit of power. I am fearless in your presence. You're all around me, all around me. In my weakness, you are strongest. You surround me. You surround me. I am fearless in your presence. You're all around me, all around me. In my weakness, you are strongest. You surround me. You surround me. You surround me. You surround me. Oh, you surround me. You surround me. You surround me. Namaste.